Brent, what percent of your corn is planted so far?
100.
100%.
Yeah.
What are the soil conditions like in your area? Like,
They started spongy. They're drying up now. They're favorable now. There's still some tough fields that are just dry.
yeah.
We've been in the bubble.
Okay.
All the rains that we've got moisture, but we haven't got the heavy rains that everywhere else around us has.
Okay. So are your yield expectations still fairly confident then?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Where things went in, the ground was most of it went into the thick ground, so we still got time. So yeah, we're still expecting good yields.
When did you finish planting?
3:30.
Oh, 3:30 this afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay. You started seeding soybeans?
I haven't, but no neighbors have.
Okay.
So, and I think generally in the area in our area, it sounds like we're about 70% done.
Okay,
Talking to a few crop advisors.
Is that quite a ways behind normal?
Yeah, probably by now it'd be 85 to 90, but considering as of Monday they were 2% planted, it's amazing.
That's pretty good. Have guys been seeding like 24 hours a day around you?
For maybe not 24, but yeah, it's been long days, and I know there's fertilizer guys talking to. They shut down for 2 hours last night.
Yep.
So, Mark, what percentage of your corn is planted?
We're probably, by the end of today, we'll be 75% planted probably.
So, historically speaking, is that that's obviously behind where you would normally be?
Yes, I'd be hoping to keep planting soybeans right now.
Okay. So, when do you think you're going to finish seeding then? Or when do you think you're going to finish planting corn?
Well, because of the calendar, we're pushing pretty hard, so if we can hold off on the rain they're calling for tomorrow, we could be almost completed by tomorrow this time.
So, how many hours per day have you guys been planting? 24?
No, it's not that bad. It's 20.
Okay.
We're pushing. We're pushing hard.
So
we have big equipment. Stuff's going in fast. It's crazy. Crazy right now.
Are you still going with your original heat unit plans, or did you trade in for lower heat units?
No, we stuck with our original plan. We kind of felt that if we could get a vast majority of the corn planted by this week, the end of this week, we really haven't lost any heat units yet. So we kind of are anticipating that we'll still get them. So if we get rained out here before we're finished, we'd probably have to seriously look at, dropping back a couple, probably back about 100 to 150 corn heat units.
What are your soil conditions like right now for growing?
They're good now. I probably would say that some guys push the window by a day or a day and a half.
Okay. Would you say, Mark, that your area is all about 75% finished?
No, I would say we're probably 50%. We're probably saying 50% right now.
Wayne, what percent do you have planted of your corn?
20% maybe.
Okay. So based on how things are going, if we don't get any rain here in the next couple days, when do you think you're going to get finished seeding the corn?
We generally take about a week to 10 days. It depends on the weather, but we also look after. Dad has a dairy herd too, so some days we don't get much done, depending on how that goes.
So what are the soil conditions like for the corn you're planting?
They're quite variable. In the heavier dirt, you can see the moisture coming up whenever you're cultivating, and it kind of balls up a little bit. But on the lighter ground, it's like sand. It's dry, but you can see pretty much every drain. Any farm that doesn't have drains on, they're still sitting with puddles of water in the fields. It's quite variable, not only from farm to farm, but also field to field almost.
So based on some of the early planting adversity we've had here, Are you have you scaled back your heat units, or are you still going with your original plan?
No, still going with original plans. We I remember planting corn May 2-4 weekend, so I'm not concerned yet on the heat unit corn, on the heat units. Stuff we're putting in the ground today was 2950. I think one more field of that, and one or two more fields of that, and we'll be done with the 2900 and up heat units.
So with being 10 to 20% done, where would you normally be?
Last 2 years we'd be done.
But you
Around May 10th. We've been done May 10th, May 12th for the last 2 years, done planting corn.
but based on that, you still have a you're still confident in the yield expectations and things are going to come out of the ground fine.
Yeah, yeah. The dirt that the corn's going into is real good, and considering that it's 20 degrees today, 25 tomorrow, we got rain in the forecast. I don't think you could ask for a better start to the year. Other years when we've been done May 10th, there's been a cold spell after that, or it's been so dry the corn just sat there waiting for the next rain to come. So with the heat we got this week, this coming weekend, and looking into next week, I think it's going to pan out pretty good. The bit of moisture we get this weekend, it's still. I think we couldn't ask for more ideal conditions to give it a jump start once it gets going.
So Philip, in Dresden, what percent of your corn is planted?
I would say that after today, about 50% of the corn is planted in southwestern Ontario, near Dresden. Unfortunately, we've had a little bit more rain than the rest of the province. For instance, I had a quarter-inch of rain yesterday where I lived in about 15 minutes, and then I drove out to the farm where I'm planting corn, and they hardly had anything. And that was quite an event yesterday throughout southwestern Ontario. We've had more rain down here than the rest of the province, so we're a little bit behind the rest of the province.
So if the weather holds off, when do you think your area is going to finish planting?
Oh, if the weather stays good, I'll be done planting corn the first of next week, and then what will happen here in southwestern Ontario, we'll immediately go into the soybeans. Sometimes when you get corn planted in April here in southwestern Ontario, sometimes guys hold off to plant beans till later in May when it gets a lot warmer. Some guys don't, but I'm of the group that I don't get too antsy to get soybeans in the ground. But 2011 is a different year because we're later planting corn. Even though I think it's later, some industry people think it's normal. Soybean planters will be following corn planters as soon as they can, and I'm sure you'll see soybeans going in the ground with corn planters in other fields as well. In fact, I heard this morning there's some guys done soybean planting around London, Ontario.
Yeah, we've been hearing even around. I think it was Listowel. They were the soybean planters were out in the field.
Yes, I understand that. And I understand near Ottawa, they've had a real good run in the far east of Ontario, around Ottawa, north of Toronto as well. They've been going for 2 weeks, but I've only been going for about 4 or 5 days down here. It's just kind of unusual.
So, what are soil conditions like in your area? Are they good?
The lighter soils are the ones that everybody's working on. The heavier soils that I've got quite a bit of, they aren't ready yet, and they won't be ready probably till next week. It's just been a very wet spring down here, and we had more rain yesterday. So in Essex County, which is southwest of here, down near Windsor, it's really challenging to get going. And north of me here in Dresden and South Lambton County, there's very heavy soils. It'd be quite a challenge to plant anything there right now either. In fact, some guys are just getting the nitrogen on wheat, and that's what happened to me this week too. I did that Monday.
So did you stick with your original heat unit plan?
I did, and I certainly thought about changing that because I grow some 3,400 heat unit corn, which is hardly grown in Ontario. But they told me if I didn't plant it this week to bring it back, but I kept it. And so I imagine around Halloween I'll be going through that with a combine, wondering why I did that. It'll probably be 30% by that time. But, all the seed corn companies recommended planting it. Sometimes I wonder whether they did that because they just didn't want it back. But But I went ahead with what I'd ordered.